Today, we will embark on a small journey into the ancient world where giant creatures once ruled the earth. And the main character we will draw in this video is the long-necked dinosaur, a gentle, massive, and majestic creature of the Jurassic period. You can use any tool you like: pencil, paper, pen, watercolor, or digital drawing tablet. The most important thing is to relax and enjoy your creative process. We will start with very simple shapes. When learning to draw, everyone needs to start from the most basic structures. Imagine your paper as a large space for our dinosaur to stand firmly. First, sketch a slightly tilted horizontal oval on the paper. This will be the main body, the largest block of the long-necked dinosaur. Don't worry if the oval is not very beautiful. The purpose of this step is just to build the basic structure. You can always tweak it later. Next, from the left side of the oval, draw a smaller circle to create the back hip. This circle will suggest where we will place the hind legs and the tail. On the opposite side, lightly sketch a slightly smaller oval to create the chest and front shoulders. When these three basic shapes connect, you will see the skeleton of the long-necked dinosaur gradually emerge like a simple anatomical model. Now for the most prominent part, the long, graceful neck. From the top of the front oval, draw a soft curve, gently bending it to your liking. Imagine the neck as a flexible tree branch reaching towards the sky. Depending on the style you want, the neck can curve more or less. After drawing the first curve, draw a second curve parallel to create thickness for the neck. When these two lines meet at the top, sketch a small circle for the head. For the head, imagine our dinosaur as a gentle creature, so the lines need to be a little soft. Just sketch a small egg-like shape. Then draw a slightly curved line in front for the snout. When you're done with the head, you can put a small dot for the eye, a small curve for the mouth. Don't rush to finish it. Leave it there and we'll adjust it later. Now go back to the body. From the back hip, draw a long pointed line getting thinner as you go towards the bottom of the page. This will be the tail. Long-necked dinosaurs often have long, strong tails which help balance their bodies. So keep the tail slightly curved and soft, like it's moving gently in the wind. You can imagine that just by waving it slightly, it can create a whole cloud of dust flying in the old forest. For the legs, start with the hind legs. From the circle at the hip, draw a line down in a column-like shape. The legs of the long-necked dinosaur are quite large and sturdy, so don't be afraid to make them a little big. Start at the thigh, draw down to the knee at a slight angle, then continue straight down to create the lower leg. Finish with a large foot with 3 or 4 toes, depending on the style you like. Just keep the form steady. With the front legs, do the same, but make them slightly smaller than the hind legs. The important thing is that the front legs can be slightly together or slightly bent, creating the feeling that the animal is standing comfortably. Once the 4 legs are complete, we will connect the whole body with smooth lines. From the initial shapes, draw the outline of the body. Don't force the outline to be a strict oval. Let it bulge or retract, depending on the muscles and body structure you want. The dinosaur's belly can sag slightly, creating a feeling of great weight. The back is long and slightly curved, going from the shoulders to the hips in a natural way. Now let's move on to adding details to the head and neck. Add a few small curves to the neck to simulate light muscles or folds of skin. For the head, you can add a more defined mouth outline and draw 2 small nostrils slightly in front of the snout. If you want the dinosaur to look cute, you can make the eyes slightly larger and rounder. If you want it to look more realistic, you can make them smaller and slightly longer. At this point, the overall shape of the long-necked dinosaur is clearly visible. The next step is to add small details to add more life. You can draw folds of skin on the elbows, some light veins on the body, or small dots to create skin texture. For the tail, add a few slight curves along the tail ridge to create a sense of movement. Don't overdo it though, as long-necked dinosaurs tend to have quite smooth skin. If you are drawing in pencil, you can start using darker strokes to complete the important details. If you are drawing in color, this is the time to choose a color palette. There is no exact standard for dinosaur colors because we only have fossils, not real colors. So you can be creative: light, moss green, earthy, brown slate, gray, or even blue if you like the fantasy style. A little tip: you can combine 2 or 3 colors together to create depth, such as a darker back, a lighter belly. This helps the animal look more alive and have more volume. If you are shading, imagine the light coming from a certain direction. For example, if the light is coming from the top right, the right side of the neck, back, and legs will be lighter. The left side will be darker. Shadows can be added lightly under the belly and under the 4 legs to give the feeling that the animal is standing firmly on the ground. When you're almost done, take a step back or zoom in if you're using a tablet. Looking at the whole thing will help you spot areas that need to be tweaked, like loose lines, unbalanced proportions, or shadows that need tweaking. Adjust gently, keeping the lines smooth and consistent. And finally, when you're satisfied, sign your name in the corner of the drawing. This is not only a good habit, but also a way to respect your own work. Drawing a long-necked dinosaur is more than just creating a large shape. It's a way to connect with the ancient world where giant creatures once walked slowly on the ground millions of years ago. It's also a way to expand your imagination practice, thinking about shapes, curves, and movements. Hopefully through this tutorial, you've been able to complete a beautiful painting that reflects your own style and mark. If you like this theme, you can try to continue with other dinosaurs like Stegosaurus triceratops or even T-Rex. Each one has its own unique structure, and drawing them will help you progress very quickly. Thank you for accompanying me on this creative journey today. I hope you always stay inspired, always find joy in every stroke, and see you in the next video tutorials. Welcome back to our familiar space of artistic creation. Today we will explore how to draw one of the most beautiful fish in nature, a fish that carries cultural significance, strength, and endurance of the journey to overcome rapids. That is the salmon. Throughout this video, I will guide you step by step in a gentle and detailed way, helping you to be able to draw the typical shape and demeanor of salmon, even if you do not have much experience. Prepare your paper, pencil, or drawing board, and we will start from the first simplest lines. First, we will sketch out the basic shape of the salmon. Imagine the salmon's body as a long, soft drop of water that tapers towards both ends. You can start by drawing a horizontal oval, slightly pointed at the tail and rounder at the head. This will be the main body. Don't worry about being absolutely precise, as this is just an initial sketch to help you determine the size and direction of the fish's body. Place this oval around 2/3 of the main space on the paper to give the head and tail some breathing room, and to allow you to add details without feeling cramped. Once the body is defined by the basic oval, we'll move on to the head. Salmon have a rather distinctive head with a slightly pointed snout and a slightly upward-pointing mouth, giving it a proud and sharp look. From the left side of the oval, draw a slightly concave curve to create the bridge of the fish's nose. Then pull this line down slightly to create the chin. Finally, connect the two lines to create a small snout. The mouth can be sketched with a simple curve not too sharp enough to create a gentle but strong look. Keep the fish's eyes a small distance from the mouth, either a circle or an oval, and place them slightly high to give the impression that the fish is facing forward. Next, we'll create the tail, one of the things that gives the salmon its graceful look. From the right side of the oval, draw two curves outwards, slightly fanning out like an open fan. Once these two lines create a soft V-like shape, connect them with a relatively straight curve, creating the fish's tail. The salmon's tail isn't as flared as a goldfish's, but has a fairly thick edge, so you can make it look stronger and more stable. Remember that the tail is the main force that helps the salmon move through the water, so it's important to make it feel strong. With the head, body, and tail in place, we move on to the fins, the element that adds life and realism to the drawing. Salmon have a total of 3 main fins that we need to focus on: the dorsal, ventral, and pectoral fins. Starting with the dorsal fin, draw it in the middle of the fish's back, slightly towards the head. This fin is shaped like a low triangular leaf, but the top edge is not straight, but gently curves along the body. Next, the pectoral fins are located just behind the gills. You just need to draw a small curve that opens up below the body. The ventral fins are located lower, and the anal fin is located closer to the tail. Keep these fins thin, light, and slightly transparent. Salmon are very smooth swimmers, so the fin lines should reflect that elegance. Now that we have the general layout, let's make the body more realistic by adding detailed outlines. Use a firmer stroke to go along the back, creating a gentle curve from head to tail. Salmon are usually lighter on the belly, so the curve at the bottom can be softer and less jagged. Don't forget to draw a dividing line between the back and belly. This is the line that runs along the body, dividing the body into 2 different colored parts. This line doesn't need to be straight, but can be slightly curved to create a natural feeling like the way fish skin lights up in real life. Once the outline is complete, we move on to the pattern, the most distinctive feature of salmon. This fish often has small black or red dots scattered along the body, especially near the back. You can add small uneven dots, avoiding arranging them in a straight line, as the spots of salmon are often randomly distributed. However, you should not put too many on the belly. If you want to draw Atlantic salmon or sockeye salmon, you can refer to the characteristics of each species to adjust the color and number of spots accordingly. At this point, we will move on to the step of creating depth and volume by adding shadows. Imagine light coming from above, like sunlight shining down on the water surface. This will make the back of the fish darker while the belly is lighter. Use a pencil or dark color to lightly shade the back, especially near the dorsal fin and the head. As for the belly, only paint a very light layer or even leave it white to create a natural shine. Don't forget to create a gradient between the back and belly so that the shades blend together gently. If you are using color to complete the painting, remember that salmon usually have a dark blue or gray back, silvery sides, while the belly is lighter, almost white. Some salmon species when breeding will have a red or orange color along the body. You can apply the color gradient to create a natural iridescent effect. Start with a light layer of color, then gradually increase the intensity. Remember to keep the layers of color blended together to create the feeling of smooth and slippery skin. Once the body has color and depth, we come back to the tail and fins to complete. Salmon fins have many thin veins running parallel. You can use a pencil or fine pen to draw lines from the base of the fin to the edge of the fin, creating softness. For the tail, add a few slightly stronger veins to create a feeling of elasticity and thrust. These small, detailed lines will help the painting become much more vivid. Now we need to add emphasis with the eyes of the fish. Salmon eyes usually have a white or silvery outer ring with a slightly enlarged iris. You can add a small reflective dot to the eye to add some life. Just a small white dot is enough to make the fish look alert and lively. When everything is almost done, take a few seconds to look at your work as a whole. Look to see if the body is balanced, the back is smooth, the fins are in the right place, and the colors blend together naturally. If you find anything that is not to your liking, you can make slight adjustments until you are satisfied. Remember that sophistication is created from very small things. And now when you have finished your own salmon painting, you can add some background if you like a few lines representing the water flow, some sparkling lights at the bottom of the river, or some small air bubbles around the mouth of the fish. These background details are not required, but will help give the painting depth and create its own story. Finally, when the work is complete, don't forget to sign it. That's how you mark your creativity and save the moment you have completed a beautiful painting. Thank you for accompanying me throughout the process of drawing salmon today. Hope you have learned something new and feel relaxed in each stroke. Keep creating and exploring more topics. See you in the next videos. Wish you always keep the passion for art in you.